Get off this land now. The man in a crisp green HOA vest bellowed, perched on a bulldozer that had just smashed through my gate like it was kindling. Behind him, 5 more bulldozers rumbled, their engines growling along the ridge. The lead machine was clawing at the barn my great-grandfather built in 1939, splintering its weathered beams. I sprinted toward them, arms flailing. "What are you doing? This is my land." The man hopped down, a smirk curling his lips. "Was your land? It was auctioned last week. New owners want a golf course here." My stomach dropped. "Auctioned? By whom?" He flicked a paper from his clipboard. HOA took it for unpaid fees. "All legal. Talk to the city." I snatched the document. "This is a lie. My land's never been part of your HOA." But words didn't stop them. Within minutes, they'd erected fences, rolled in trucks, and staked the ground with red flags. That was the day the Homeowners Association illegally sold my 1,800-acre Willow Creek ranch. They had no clue I'd legally buy their homes in return. But first, I needed proof. I'm Ethan Carter, 38, a retired Army engineer and owner of Willow Creek Ranch, a sprawling mix of forests, fields, and lakes passed down through 4 generations. My land borders Pinewood Estates, a ritzy HOA neighborhood where folks drive golf carts and get fined for slightly overgrown lawns. My ranch predates their subdivision by decades, so their rules never applied to me. Yet for years, they sent fines for loud goats or my barn's unsightly look. I ignored them. Then came their new HOA president, Margaret Voss. Margaret, all sharp suits and sharper glares, was elected to elevate the area. I didn't realize that men are erasing my legacy. One morning, my neighbor Tom, who lived on Pinewood's edge, showed up looking pale. "Ethan, the HOA's claiming your land as a buffer zone. They passed a new charter. You weren't invited to the vote." I scoffed. "They can't touch my land. It's been ours since 1902. But weeks later, my cousin Lou called, furious. "Are you selling a ranch? There's a flyer with your lake on it, zoned for luxury condos." I drove to Pinewood's office and confronted Margaret. "Why's my land in your ads?" She barely looked up. "If you'd maintained it properly, you wouldn't be a nuisance." My blood boiled. "This land isn't yours. I have a 1902 deed, signed by the governor." She smirked. "Take it to court. You'll see we're thorough." At the county registrar's office, I found forged documents. Someone had redrawn boundaries, claiming Willow Creek was Pinewood's 5 months ago, signed E.M. Carter. I don't have a middle name. They'd faked my identity, filed false papers, and sold my land at a secret auction. Buyers were already moving in. I called my lawyer, Sarah Klein, a former judge with a knack for cutting through lies. She studied the papers and grinned. "This is felony fraud, but proving it takes time." Meanwhile, Pinewood's land is on a tax lien, up for auction next month. The developer defaulted. My eyes widened. "You're saying I could buy the land under their homes?" She nodded. "I sold cattle, drained savings, and in a 7-minute online auction, I bought the 75 acres beneath Pinewood Estates. Every house, pool, and driveway was now on my land. I filed a notice, private agricultural ranch, no residential leasing. They'd have to move or pay sky-high rent." As I prepared to serve notices, Margaret knocked on my door, jaw tight. "We need to talk." I held up my phone, recording. Before she could speak, a sheriff's cruiser rolled in. 2 deputies approached. "Margaret Voss, you're under investigation for forging land documents and impersonating a property owner." Her face went white. "This is a mistake. I'm HOA president." But they cuffed her, reading her rights as she shrieked, "You can't take Pinewood." I kept recording, silent. Margaret's arrest didn't end it. The HOA's vice president, Greg Harlan, sent a veiled threat disguised as a polite letter, requesting a peaceful meeting. Behind him loomed a bigger player, Victor Drake, a shadowy developer with a web of offshore companies. One night, a gunshot woke me at 2:13 a.m. My dog, Rusty, growled. I grabbed my shotgun and saw 2 figures near the south field, one holding a rifle or camera. I hit the floodlights, and they vanished. The cameras? Black for 3 minutes during the shot. Someone jammed them. Sarah urged me to go federal. 2 agents, Collins and Reed, arrived from Homeland Security. They revealed Drake's network, fake auctions, forged zoning, and sabotage across states. "You're not the only victim," Collins said, "but you're the only one who won." I'd serve in Afghanistan, building bridges under fire. I wasn't about to fold. I turned the ranch into a fortress, floodlights, satellite-backed CCTV, and trained ranch hands. Then I set a trap, a fake communications hub with decoy land records. 2 nights later, motion sensors pinged. Intruders cut the fence, carrying jammers and a drone. I locked them in the steel container remotely. Agents and deputies swooped in, arresting 4 men, including Pinewood's treasurer, who confessed to destroying fraud evidence on Drake's orders. I took it further, signing with a documentary team for Ranch vs. HOA. The teaser hit 1 million views in a day. Drake's name trended as lawmakers and victims spoke out. A judge froze his assets, but he sent a chilling photo of me by my barn, marked, "This isn't about land anymore." I burned it in the fire pit. Drake kept pushing. One night, I caught a man sabotaging my well with bleach. Agents found blueprints and messages from V in his van. Drake faced racketeering charges. His empire crumbled. Yet, he left eerie tokens on my fence. A glove, a dead bird, a burnt toy. I photographed each, undeterred. With Sarah and Tom, I launched the Landguard Foundation to shield small landowners. It grew from 10 to 2,000 members in weeks, sparking a national movement. Then, Drake was caught in Belize with cash and a list naming Willow Creek. Extradited and convicted on all counts, fraud, racketeering, conspiracy, he got 42 years. His voice memo, vowing to burn my ranch, sealed his fate. 6 months later, Willow Creek thrived. We hosted markets, veteran trail rides, and kids' camps. The documentary won an Emmy nod. I spoke at a landowners conference, a rancher who'd faced down a titan. The foundation pushed for tougher land laws, with Sarah leading legal and Tom as its voice. I stayed in the background, fixing fences, watching the horizon. One evening, Mrs. Larson, a Pinewood widow, brought me a peach pie. "When you bought our land, I feared homelessness," she said. "But you didn't evict us." I nodded. "Hurting innocents isn't justice." She smiled. "Your grandpa would be proud." That night, I read my grandfather's journal, Guard What Matters. I'd fought a criminal empire and won, not just for my land, but for legacy and hope. Drake was wrong. I lost nothing. Willow Creek was mine forever. What do you think? Should Ethan have used harsher tactics against the HOA? Or was his legal approach the right call? Have you faced injustice or fought for what's yours? Share your stance in the comments. Let's debate violence, justice, and standing up to power.